This illegal migrant issue is a real issue.
This coming as a new report reveals migrants are making up 75% of the arrests in some parts of New York City.
Multiple arrests with the same people. Griff Jenkins is here with more. Griff.
Yeah, good morning, guys. Look, the border crisis really hit home in the Midwest this weekend. Let's start there. Previously deported illegal immigrant from Honduras was arrested Sunday, authorities said, following an intense manhunt in Indiana. The manhunt began Saturday after a 14-year-old girl was stabbed in the hand with a butcher-style knife while at her brother's baseball game. When the girl's mother tried to help, the migrant also tried to stab her before fleeing.
Well, and it's not just the Trinidad de Agua within Aurora that is going back, and I don't know what the interim police chief is talking about in Aurora, saying, oh, it's really not a problem. You got city council members, community members showing video of them.
And the governor says that too.
The governor is saying this nonsense. He wants to be president one day, by the way, saying that it's different apartment complexes that they're taking over. Now there's reporting going on in Chicago that the gangs within Chicago and the Trinidad de Agua are going back and forth. So we got a crisis.
Wait, so American gangs are fighting foreign
back
gangs?
And forth.
Precisely what I've been saying, right? You have the sanctuary cities that are already struggling in huge deficits. The gang members who are here, when you look at it, they're going to be arrested. They'll be let right out, and you can't really do anything to them because they're not in the system. So they can get lost in the sauce. They can disappear. Half the time, they don't even know these guys' real names.
You know, Charlemagne the God, when I interviewed him, he said the crazy thing that he was getting people telling him that the gangs are taking on gangs. That's where New York is heading, but you're saying Chicago headed there first.
The potential for violence, the potential of American gangs clashing with the Venezuelan gang is extremely possible. It's extremely possible. It's a real possibility. Just like if you took the Bloods, the Crips, and you had them go down to Venezuela and start taking a foothold and committing crimes where Trinidad Aragua, if I'm saying the name of the gang right, if you went into their territory, you started committing crimes, what do you think is going to happen? It's going to be unrest because they're going to be like, yo, you can't come into our country and start committing crimes as a gang. This is our place. So the potential for violence just from that perspective is real. So people need to stop ignoring it.
For a lot of time, we've been talking about some countries not sending their best. And in this case, just like it happened with MS-13, this gang is pretty notorious in Venezuela. And I saw that not a lot of people were diving deep into what this gang does and what it's known for. And the reality is that in New York City, NYPD has already determined that there is a presence of the Trinidad de Agua in the city. And as we see crime spread throughout the United States, many of them being brutal crime, a lot of people are asking themselves, how many members of the Trinidad de Agua are already inside the United States? That's not to say that all immigrants are Trinidad de Agua members, but maybe many of them are, and that's a problem.
Well, how about these guys that beat up the New York Police Department police there, the cops there? There were like 6 or 7 of them involved in that, and they were let go.
And we talked about that before, and that's what I was saying. You don't know who the people are. That's the whole point of immigration. You need to know who's in your country.
If you search for them, you'll find them. Of these people being interviewed, and they say, thank you, Joe Biden, for having us here. We're so happy to be here. And then they turn around and they commit crime. They're not the best. They're not the best people. And I say this as a Venezuelan American. It's really weird what happens in Venezuela. And it's not really clear if the government's directly behind this or if the gang is acting independently. But if you ask me, I assume that this immigration wave, this massive one for sure, must have other actors behind it. And I wouldn't be surprised if the Maduro regime is the one pulling the strings.
Okay.
Now, this is an interesting take. Now, this is a young Venezuelan American talking about this. And, you know, we really don't know. We don't really know if the Venezuelan president is in cahoots with the cartel and whether it's a plan to just kind of flush their toilet into the U.S., you know what I mean? But ultimately, that's why you have immigration policy. It's not our problem. Whatever's going on in Venezuela is not U.S.'s problem.
Following some breaking news out of Athens, Georgia.
2 colleges have canceled classes today as police look for a murderer. Laken Riley was described as a shining light.
Dean's List nursing student.
Police arrested 26-year-old Jose Antonio Ibarra.
Ibarra crossed into Texas illegally back in September of 2022, then was released into the United States on parole.